That's easy. Why I love Srila Prabhupada. That's easy. Prabhupada sacrificed so much, just like a father, a loving father. When we see him sacrifice so much, working so hard, at the cost of his health, at the cost of his own happiness, at the cost of his own desires, to give us, nourish us, and give us his best, then we have to love him. We have to love him. He made it easy for us to love him. He made it easy for us to enjoy Krishna consciousness and love him. And as he said in one interview in Gainesville when I was there, he came to Gainesville, Florida. We invited him for just 2 days. And as he said, one interview, the question was asked in one interview, how can you tell who is a pure devotee? They are telling me that you're a pure devotee of Krishna. How can we tell who is a pure devotee of God? And Prabhupada just put up his head with his hand in his bead bag and he said, he is a perfect gentleman. So we must become perfect gentlemen and ladies in order to that show our love for Prabhupada. We have to voluntarily repay him. Voluntarily we want to repay him. And again, his instructions are for all of us to give Krishna to everyone. That whether we're mother, father, grihasta, sannyasi, man, woman, child. I was just hearing today in Vrindavan, one devotee was giving lecture and he was saying, is there any option but to follow the order of the spiritual master? As I was walking here, I heard him say, there's no option but to follow the order of the spiritual master. And Prabhupada personally told me that read my books and become a great preacher for this movement. And I'm a woman. So others are arguing, maybe, that, women cannot be preachers. Women should just be mothers. But a mother is a preacher. At the same time, I'm a mother. And look at my children. So we have to keep that balance and keep that foremost, that I'm a preacher for Prabhupada. And of course, if someone is not a speaker, that's okay. When they do the deity worship, when they're rolling ghee wicks, when a man is working for his family, that is all preaching. If their spirit isn't to give my best and leave my best behind in this world, that I'm a perfect gentleman and a perfect lady, and I will treat everyone with kindness. My wife, my husband, my children, everyone with kindness, the world, and give them Krishna, then I will be a perfect example. So we're all preachers for Prabhupada, no matter what you're a preacher, you're behind a camera, but that's okay. Someone else is in front of the camera, but you're a preacher for Prabhupada because you're spreading this mission. Preaching means just sharing, actually, not hitting people over the head that I'm a better philosopher than you, I know more Sanskrit than you, I know more, some tricks of philosophy, or I know how to debate better than you. Preaching is from the heart. We're preaching bhakti. We're not preaching karma kanda, or we're not preaching just smarta Brahmin philosophy. We're preaching love for Krishna in the heart. And bhakti is engraved in practical philosophy. Bhakti has to be engraved in practical philosophy, otherwise it's just sentiment. Prabhupada taught us that. So why I love Prabhupada, to finish this concept of why I love Prabhupada, when I was getting my Brahmin initiation, I was just a devotee for a year, and I had just gotten my first initiation by letter. And we were in Gainesville, Florida, so this is when Prabhupada came there. And they shoved me into a room alone with Srila Prabhupada, and when I walked in, Prabhupada was very grave, sitting on a chair, and he said, sit down, sit down. And so I sat down like a little dog. I felt like, I'm a little puppy dog for Prabhupada. That's good, I like that. And I sat down. And then he said, repeat after me. And in those days, we didn't do much Sanskrit. This is 1971. And we didn't know much Sanskrit. We knew the pranam mantras, little samsara prayers. And so he said, Om, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, and he's going on with this. And the first few words I got Om, Bhur, Bhuva, and then the rest of it I could not repeat. And he said, repeat. I said, repeat. So I thought, whoa, I don't know, and I'm trying. So again, Om, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, and I tried, and I lost it. And then he said, they did not give you a paper with it written? I said, no, Prabhupada, no one gave me a paper. And of course I thought, at least I was supposed to have a paper to read, you know. And I said, no, Prabhupada, no one gave me a paper. And he said, never mind. He said, Hridayananda will give it to you tomorrow. And then I thought, okay, well, you know, it was embarrassing. I didn't know how to reciprocate properly, but I thought at least I won't turn my back on him. So I will walk out backwards. So I'm holding my hands, I'm going, thank you, Prabhupada, thank you, thank you. And I'm walking out backwards. He saw my helplessness, my foolishness, my, you know, insufficiency as a young, you know, Western girl. And he took the garland off his desk, and then he put a big smile on his face, and he went, and he threw it at me, like threw it at me. And I caught the garland. Oh, thank you, Prabhupada, thank you, thank you. And I went out, and later on, 2 days later, Prabhupada had left, and we did the fire yajna for my Brahmin initiation, and for one devotee, a couple were getting married. So we were the three of us there. And Hridayananda was doing fire yajna on the order of Prabhupada. So there was not enough bananas to go around to put in the fire, so I gave my banana to the girl, because I thought, let me give her my banana. And we threw, you know, we threw the grains, and she threw the banana in the end. And then I thought, yes, it's not about the bananas. Prabhupada was showing us. He didn't even give me the mantra. He gave me part of the mantra. And then he just threw the garland at me. And it's not about the you know, crossing your T's right and dotting your I's. That's Smarta Brahmin philosophy. Prabhupada, for the sake of preaching, for the sake of pushing on Krishna consciousness, he wanted to make another daughter a Brahmin. Let me make another daughter a Brahmin, so that she can do deity worship and preach more powerfully, because he gave, when he gets Brahmin, it's not just a status, it's not just a title. It's Prabhupada is giving part of his energy to that disciple. He's sharing more of his energy to that disciple. That part I got by Prabhupada's grace. He gave me that, even in spite of not having the full mantra or the banana, or, you know, you're crossing your T's and I's. And this is Prabhupada. That's why I love him. Because utility is the principle. His legacy is how utility is the principle. To utilize everything in Krishna's service, including these unintelligent, or, you know, you know, unseasoned Western mentality. You know, he's giving the unseasoned Western mentality the highest philosophy and the highest knowledge of how to love Krishna. This is why I loved Prabhupada. He wasn't hung up on doing it perfectly. If he was hung up on doing it perfectly, he would not have come to America, because his books were not prepared properly. They were not prepared with you know, correct English. The English was you know, it was you could say it wasn't, Indian. It was Indian English. It wasn't proper. Of course, we relish it. Especially when he writes the Bhagavatam is like readily swallowable nectarine juice. To me, that's more relishable, because it's coming directly from him. But to the educated American people, Prabhupada wanted it changed. He told the Western people, change it. He told them, don't just repeat my words. Speak to your people in your language. Let the Russians speak to their people in their language. Prabhupada's legacy was innovating and making things appropriate, but you don't change the essence. And the essence is what he gave us, his mood of what he gave us. I don't need to go anywhere else or read any other books in this life. If I want to spend my time studying and reading, I will read Prabhupada's books and learn more and more and more every day. And every paragraph, if I read it over and over again, I'll get new and new insights, because Prabhupada's transcendent energy is in that philosophy. So that's why I love Prabhupada.